Remember the great man, Jonathan, a billionaire, Zikiwe, was a great man. So are you talking about him or something? Anyway, there's a lot to talk about this morning as we begin this morning. And remember, we're here to ensure that you have a bright start to a new working week for those who are going to work. And the schools, they're closed at the moment, so the children or kids at home,
holiday. I love it. I'm not even a parent yet, but it feels like when kids are on holiday, those of us who are not parents love it. Sorry for those of you who are parents. Yeah. We love it because the roads are free. The kids are coming to school. There's a noticeable difference. Yeah. There's a noticeable difference on the roads. So and even as a child, it just reminds me of my days as a child. Yesterday was Palm Sunday. The holidays are here because, of course, Easter is already around the corner. So the children are more than excited to be at home. Absolutely. I promise you.
Well, let's start off with the stories very quickly. Let's start off with a misunderstanding that seems to have taken place in Borno State between the governor himself and, not forgetting to, between the Minister of Information, talking about Mohammed Idris. Well, the story has to do with the fact that the Borno State governor has been talking tough. We talked about it here a few days ago, last week, upper week, about the insecurity, the rising problems that insecurity is indeed bringing to the land. So while talking, he did get a response from the Minister of Information, and that was via a tweet on X. Yes, I said tweet on X. You get what I did there, right? Yeah. He said, I would like to make it clear that at no time did I dismiss Governor Zulum's security concerns or ask that he be ignored. Completely false. Kindly disregard the reports claiming that I did so. I urge all media platforms to be accurate and responsible in their reporting. Now, this is what I said. Yes, security is indeed improving in many parts of the country. Even if acts of violence have been completely eradicated, security agencies are working round the clock to ensure that the situation in some parts of Borno State and others are brought under control. It went on and on and on, talked about the synergy between security agencies, and then went ahead to highlight the fact that the Tinubu administration is committed to eradicating acts of banditry and terrorism across the country. But why did he come out to say all of this? According to him, the Minister of Information, he said there was a misrepresentation of his statements made earlier. Okay, that's what he said. And he said government calls on all, especially the subnational governments, to join hands to ensure rapid eradication of the remaining pockets of criminal elements wherever they may be. But prior to that statement, or prior to this statement, how did Governor Zulum feel about the earlier information that he got? He got the fact that he got the information that in as much as he's been crying foul, because this is not a case of the boy who cried wolf, you know, this is real, it's happening in Borno State.
Verifiable,
yeah, and it seemed like he was ignored. So in an interview where News Central was present, he had this to say as well.
All right, that video, we have a video to play. I don't know about production
get that video.
But before that video plays, again, just to, okay, right, I think we have the video. Let's take a listen.
I don't want to join issues over the Minister of Information. I believe he's naive of what is happening in the country. He doesn't know what is ongoing in the country. Our discussions during the Security Council was not bad. We just raised an alarm that there is resurgence of Boko Haram activities in Borno State, and there is a need for Borno State government, the military as well as our military, to work together in order to abut the looming situation. I think this is a very good advice. Nothing has been said again. But most importantly, I want to assure you that we have been to Abuja. We met the service chief, especially the CDS, Chief of Army Staff, Naval Staff, as well as air staff. We receive assurances from them that they will do everything possible to control the situation.
Well, I mean, you could see the passion in his voice. I mean, he's concerned about the welfare of the citizens, and there might have been some miscommunication or misinformation here or there, but the underlying factor and the most critical factor in all of this is that lives are being lost, avoidable lives are being lost as a result of insecurity. So he says, she says, it's quite unnecessary here.
So I think that what is actually needed is empathy. I saw the speech of the minister where he tried to re-explain what he was trying to say, saying that he was misinterpreted, it was taken out of context. Obviously, there is a breakdown of communication here. And what we often see in situations like this is those at the local level that have to bear the brunt of insurgency oftentimes would argue that those at the federal level might not understand the depth or the intensity of what they're facing, because there is a discord. They are at the state level having to face the reality. These ones at the federal level are quote-unquote in Abuja. You know, and they don't get to see firsthand the carnage that is being caused. At the time when lives are being lost, I do not know if the immediate response is to say, oh, we are making progress now.
No, you need some empathy.
You need empathy.
It sounds like a happy speech.
Exactly.
You know, we have hardware and all of that.
We have made progress in how many past 2 years?
You know, the federal side too, it's like a family, it's like a mother with different kids. You're not going to have a favorite. There's security situations in different parts of the federation. So you don't expect the government to pull all resources into Borno State, even though it's very important. So it's a delicate balancing act. They need attention. Attention is also needed in Zamfara State and other parts of the federation where you have pockets of violence. Well, but it's their responsibility at the end of the day.
In a sense, I would say that, for example, they've been on this journey for a while. They struggled with insecurity for a while. So they need as much attention as possible, right? There are other states that have other challenges. That's completely okay. But, excuse me. However, we can't deny the fact that these are people, real people. Real people have lost their loved ones. They've lost their family members. Their family members have been killed in the middle of the night, you know, just for nothing. Yeah. So and I think that a number of our public officials and our government office holders, it will be imperative for them to have communication specialists who would help in disseminating information with empathy. And show something that doesn't look like, first of all, we are defending ourselves first. When a Nigerian life has been lost, when one Nigerian life has been lost because of insecurity, the government has failed. The government has failed that person. Once you've been lost, you have failed that life. I agree with you. So you are accountable to the Nigerian people. And it's understandable that different countries around the world are facing insecurity on different levels. We probably may never be able to completely get rid of insecurity. But we need to get to the point where we're not hearing numbers and feeling desensitized to it. Oh, 50 people were killed, 24 people were killed, just like that. We're just hearing numbers being thrown out. So, yes, the government may be making progress, you know, I'm sure that they will have numbers. They should have numbers to show or back that up. But I think that in the times of sensitive times like this, the most important thing is empathy whilst communicating your standpoint. I agree with you.
While the minister's communication may have seemed like a subtle campaign, especially for the current administration, we hope that help would be sent the way of Borno State Governor. But let's move on to another story now. This time, it's got to do with campaigning. And if you check your calendars, ladies and gentlemen, today's date is 14th of April, 2025.
Really?
Wow.
And I emphasize on the year, 2025. And yet, if you put on your TV, if you scroll through social media, if you drive through some roads in the Federation, you think this might be December 2026, or perhaps April. I say that because of the level of, you know, it's good to have foresight and vision and, you know, look into the future, plan ahead. But I've never seen this sort of, when did we become, as our entire lives around politics? I said that because people are intensely campaigning for 2027 elections. And I will not kid you, the media is also part of what is fueling all of these discussions. But we'll get to the media's part later. That it even got to the attention of President Tinubu in France as we speak. He said, stop campaigning for me now. Tinubu tells supporters 2027. You know, English is very important. It's always good to put that comma. Because if you say stop campaigning for me now, it might look like
valid.
Don't campaign for me.
Valid.
So it's always important to put that context.
That's the press statement.
Yes.
The State House press statement, of course, by this SSA by Onanuga. Olive, I don't know what.
I mean, it's interesting and it's important that they did this, that they disclaimed it.
Yeah.
But then again, this is very indicative and reflective of the state of the Nigerian people and how politics has become a tool for manipulation, not necessarily for producing the best of the crop or the best who have put themselves out to lead, because if the presidency isn't the one behind it, like they've disclaimed, is obviously political sycophants who are looking for some favor from the administration.
Political
and I think that
hallelujah boys and girls.
Real political hallelujah boys and girls. And again, the cheeky part of me wants to say,
can you see that?
wow,
this is cute.
Wow.
Can you see?
This is cute.
That's another place, another area there.
This is support.
That's another one there. There you go. Is that the 10? Well, the 1019 initiative. That's from the 1019 initiative. I think
that's
another one.
Where are these guys getting all this
1019
money
initiative.
from?
You need to relax. You need to chill.
And all these groups, they just
need
Can you see the other one? He has his picture in the circle there.
And he has his logo, his infinity logo,
yeah.
you know. You need to chill, right? We're just halfway into the first administration, and it's really unfair to put Nigerians in a position where it's almost like we can't even account for the current
They're
administration.
not even halfway.
We're almost halfway now.
But
Democracy Day.
we are not there yet.
We'll soon do democracy.
Next month.
That will make it 2 years.
Exactly.
2 years.
But Nigerians are reacting. A certain Nigerian decided to go just right under the big billboard, and he decided to share his plea. Take a look.
Tinubu, I beg, Tinubu, I beg. I tell God, they beg you, I beg. No come out again for 2027, I beg. The one where don't do us, don't do. I beg, Tinubu, I beg. Tinubu, I need that, they beg you, I beg. APC, I beg. No come again 2027, I beg. Nigerians will suffer, will they hungry. I beg, Tinubu, I beg you. No come again. I beg, 2027, no one see your poster again. Tinubu, I beg you. If you get it wrong, don't do you, forgive us. I beg, we don't get 2027. Tinubu, I take God, beg you, APC. I beg.
Reactions there. Anyway, that's just one of the many videos you find.
That tweet from Bayo Nanuga, the presidential person, there are different layers to it. One, he acknowledges that, okay, it's nice the president has supporters and all of that, but I'm sure he's gotten to a level of, I mean, this thing might backfire and ridiculous, because who doesn't want supporters? Politics is a game of numbers, but the timing is also crucial. It's kudos to the presidency for coming out to distance themselves from all of this, because many people would just think, oh, it's the government that is doing this. They're very insensitive to the plight of people. And they're thinking about it's good that they came out to do this.
Right. And just to say that even as we count down to elections, right, because whether we like it or not, behind the scenes, the countdown to 2027 has started happening. The alignment and distancing is already happening. But the best form of campaign is great work, is excellent, phenomenal leadership. You don't have to work so hard, you know, and this is not just for the presidency, for every for those who are running for, you know, gubernatorial elections, for those who are vying for the Senate.
Even the state.
If you're already there, the best way to campaign for a second term is doing excellent work while you're there. If at the end of this administration, things like power, Nigerians are not complaining about band A, band B, band Bubuero, and we can see that we have steady power supply, we're not having to pay through our necks, you know, that the quality of life has improved. They will not need to beg anybody to vote. Nigerians will troop out en masse to vote. So the best form of campaign for any serving politician is to do an excellent work in representing the Nigerian people.
Like the Holy Bible said, that it will bless the work of your hands. So politicians also need to show working, so Nigerians will bless them democratically.
Very interesting. But again, this is just a reminder that we're planning for 2027, whether we like it or not, because he who fails to plan plans to fail.
Wow. Wisdom on a Monday morning. Words on marble.
Thank you very much.
Of marble on a Monday.
Thank you very much for acknowledging
that was sizzling.
My wife's wisdom.
A little sprinkle of,
you know, what is your wife's wisdom?
Of wisdom. Anyway, just yesterday, a story broke, and it's still got to do with Nigeria's president. This time, it's got to do with the United States court, which has ordered the FBI, DEA to release President Tinubu's records. This story was everywhere yesterday. What is the potential diplomatic repercussions of this, especially looking at the fact that the U.S. court order on relations with countries whose political leaders are subject to such scrutiny? Now, don't forget, too, that this was equally pushed and followed by a few Nigerians earlier on, that was before the elections.
It was a big issue.
Yeah, it was a big issue. They even went as far as saying, listen, bring out the criminal records, bring out the records in courts. Let's see what it would indeed tell so that Nigerians can see for themselves who they want to, vote for. But then again, the response to this still came from the SSA, which is Bayo Nanuga, where he said this has no bearing.
There's nothing new under the sun.
There's nothing new. There's nothing to worry about, even if it's been released. But Nigerians are saying, oh, here you go again. He said journalists have sought the presidency's reaction to the ruling last Tuesday by Washington, D.C. judge ordering the U.S. FBI and DEA to release reports connected with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Our response is as follows. There is nothing new to be revealed. The report by Agent Moss of the FBI and the DEA report had been in the public space for more than 30 years. The reports did not indict the Nigerian leader. The lawyers are examining the ruling. And then Nigerians went on there to say, if they're examining the ruling, then why are you putting out a press statement? You can just waited and so on. And I'm like, come on, he has the right to
I do think that it was important for him to respond.
It's very key. I mean, we must say they're spot on in their responses this past weekend. Very, very key.
Because
and the timing too.
Because at the end of the day, when anybody hears that, any Nigerian who has been in Nigeria, who's followed politics, especially at the last elections, would understand that the first reaction is because of the allegations of, there's several allegations that have trailed the president pre and even post his being sworn into power. So once you hear that, the first thing that comes to mind is, all of those are being confirmed. So yes, we'll see what the reports are going to reveal. If there's nothing to hide, there's nothing to be afraid of.
And I mean, at the end of the day, I hope it just puts an end to, regardless of the outcome of all this speculations.
You say lie.
We're tired. Every other 6 months, this allegations
so I think
come up.
What might be revealed would be also a large determinant of
the future.
Exactly. If it's revealed that there's nothing, there's nothing there, then things will probably return to normal, unless there's evidence that supports otherwise, that supports the opposition claims, then that might heat up the polity. So we really don't know what this would look like, but I guess we'll just have to wait.
The moral of the story is in life, in everything you do, try and reduce the amount of cankerworm you have.
The amount of what?
Cankerworm. Because one day...
did you do biology in school? Did you study cankerworm?
Yes, I did. I was a science.
Have you seen a cankerworm?
I was a science student.
What does a cankerworm look like?
Used to do like this.
Okay, before we get into our wake-up conversations, exactly. Before we get into that zone, we'll share with you the top stories so that we can use that moment to catch our breaths and come back ready for today's show. Well, let's share our top stories this morning.